Hello and welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Bradford Eric, once again joined by head coach of the Titan men's basketball team, Coach Larry Ondako. How you doing today, Coach?
Oh, great.
Big win last night against Waynesburg. Talk a little bit about that and, talk a little bit about the outstanding shooting that your team did last night. At one point, they were over 70% from beyond the three-point arc.
Yeah, it was just one of those nights where everything clicked. I really challenged our guys to either, I don't know, I guess kind of either step up and, really make this a season or almost pack it in. And they stepped up to that challenge. I think they can be that good. I believe that. Or I wouldn't, as I told them, I wouldn't demand these things from them. And it seems like that's maybe a performance out of the blue or, hard to explain. But we can be that good. Now, granted, Waynesburg's very young, and, they are in last place. But as I told our guys, if you're going to be good, then those are the types of teams you need to beat badly. You can't just win. I wasn't going to be happy with a 7 or 8 point win last night. And that's kind of hard to believe, being that we only had 3 on the year. You'd think we'd be happy with any win. But I really felt like if we're going to be any good, that was a team we had to come out and really lay one to, and we certainly did that.
None of the Yellow Jacket players made it into double digits in scoring. Was your defense playing pretty tough last night?
Well, yeah, and when you're dealing, and this happened to us, it's happened to us this year, but it happened to us, a couple years ago when we were really young. I mean, I think they started 3 freshmen. They had 3 and 4 on the court at some point in time, and when you get into one of those nights where you just know it's not going to happen, it's tough to deal with. And a Wednesday night, they're on the road, they're freshmen, they're getting beat badly. That's hard to handle mentally and emotionally. And, but on the other hand, we made them do that. It wasn't like they came here and tried to stink. Right. Offensively and defensively, we really played a good basketball game.
Your next game is against conference leader Teal College on Saturday. Will having Anthony Thomas back in the lineup for this game, he didn't play against them the first time this season, will having him in the game, change things up a bit? Does it give you another offensive weapon to, hopefully maybe pull out a win against Teal?
Well, yeah, anytime you get a guy who was anybody, even if it's a reserve, everybody's got to bump up a spot. So especially a starter, and again, some of the performances we've had, if Anthony Thomas plays like he did last night, then yeah, certainly, to beat a team like Teal or Bethany, the 2 top teams in our league, especially on the road, you better have all your guys, and they better play well.
It seems the Titans were able to win those little individual battles on the court last night. Carswell down low, Anthony Thomas on the point. How important are those little competitions at certain spots on the court?
Well, they're certainly important. You have to do your job. Everybody's got a job. Even though it's a team sport, individually you have to do it. And if you can win those 5 spots, then as the team you're going to win the game. And you win 2 of them, 3 of them, it's going to be a struggle. So, I think those are the things you have to learn and grow into and accept that, hey, this is my job, this is what I need to do, this is what's expected of me, and I've got to go out and do it. And I think, our guys have grown into those roles, they understand them. I think some of our kids, like our next guest and Reuben King, I point out a lot, I think they really understand their roles. And it's not as a starter, but it is to go in there and, play solid defense and get 4 or 5 points and a couple hoops. And for the most part, I think a lot of those guys have been doing their roles. It's been our starters and our key guys who haven't stepped up and gotten it done. So I really challenged them to do that last night, and I think it starts with our point guards and Ronnie and Anthony, and they certainly did that.
Besides shooting well last night and playing good defense, what other positives can you take away from the Waynesburg game?
Well, just I think our overall attitude and our confidence, I think that's as big a thing as anything, especially when you only have 3 or 4 wins on the season, is keep believing that things are going to turn, that you're moving in the right direction, that good things are going to happen. And, so I think the big thing will be hitting the floor against Teal with a great deal of confidence that we deserve to be on the floor with them and can beat them. And, beyond that, it's just 40 minutes of playing hard. You got to go to the offensive glass. You got to box out. You got to get loose balls. You got to do it for 40 minutes. You have to do it against the lower teams in the league and the best teams in the league. And against the better ones, you got to do it really well. So it won't be easy, but it can certainly be done.
Playing a game like this against Waynesburg, Waynesburg not a very good team. The Titans beat them rather badly last night. You spoke about getting a lot of confidence from a win like this. Is that important going into a game against the conference leader, Teal?
Oh, certainly. You know, it's important for us going forward. And, you know, as I point out to these guys, you know, except for Max, if they choose to, they're all back next year. So it's not just like we're just looking towards the end of February as an end goal. You know, we're trying to wrap this right into next year and keep on rolling. You know, our goal would be to, you know, I can't really figure out how many games we have left, but if it's 8, you know, maybe win, you know, 5 or 6 of these last games, have a good performance in the playoffs, and then, you know, when we start next year, be able to say, hey, look, we finished with 6 or 7 wins down the stretch in February. You know, let's just keep rolling right along here as we get the season started. And we haven't been able to be in that position with a group of guys in a while. So, you know, as much as we're focusing on right now and, you know, Saturday and next week in the PAC playoffs, we're also looking forward to the future, and I think that has the kids excited as well.
With your team this season, would you say you're able to equalize those teams that you might have the larger guys, you know, combining, you know, matching them up against your large guys, but you're also able to compete with those teams that might be a little bit speedier and quicker on the floor? Do you kind of have that, you know, combination of speed and size on your team this season?
Oh, I think we do, and you know, we just haven't put it all together. You know, that's the frustrating part. Is in the past, you know, like maybe when Ronnie and Carswell and them were freshmen, we were just way too small. It just wasn't even close if the team was that big. Now these kids are a little bigger and stronger and older and wiser and better, and but they haven't been able to put it all together. So, you know, again, I think a lot of it's just confidence and experience, and you know, if they get a couple of results like they did against Waynesburg, then that's just going to, you know, move us one step closer to our ultimate goal.
In the game against Waynesburg, I also noted that, you know, the Titans were passing 3, 4, sometimes 5 times before they would shoot the ball. Is that something you like to see as a coach?
Yeah, you know, and again, it's so much of it's just learning, you know, understanding that just because I'm open doesn't mean I should shoot it. You know, if I've just missed my last 3 shots, it's probably not wise to shoot it. You know, understand who's beside you. You know, I think our guys do a really good job of knowing when Doug's standing beside them because he's such a great shooter. But I'm not sure they realize, hey, you know, Ronnie's just hit his last 3 shots. Let's get him the next shot, you know. So, again, that's all a comfort level. It's all an experience. And I think they're picking up on it. And it was good to have a game like that last night where maybe the competition wasn't as good on that certain night, and you got a chance to maybe exploit some of those things and see some of the positive results. So I thought last night, I know a lot of people would look at it and say, well, it was just Waynesburg. But at that point in time, we were only 1 ahead of Waynesburg. So, you know, I still feel that was a big win and a good night for us.
All right, Coach, thanks very much, and good luck against Teal on Saturday.
Well, thank you very much.
Stay tuned. Kendall Hunter is up next for our player segment of Coach's Corner.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Wow, me too. Gosh, it's such a small world. Oh, I feel like I've told you so much about me. What about you? What do you do all day? I mean, I like to go rollerblading in the park for hours. Is that something you might be interested in? Oh, and how do you feel about the whole collar and leash thing?
A dog is a long-term relationship, so before you start one, do your research. The American Kennel Club has some suggestions. Log on to our website, visit the library, talk to a responsible breeder, attend a dog show.
I hope I'm not being too personal, but I love kids. Do you? I absolutely adore your hair. Who doesn't?
Know what you need to choose the breed. A message from the American Kennel Club.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm joined now by Kendall Hunter of the Westminster College men's basketball team. Thanks for joining me today, Kendall.
No problem, no problem.
Now, your team won big against the Yellow Jackets last night. Talk a little bit about that and what contributed to that big win.
I think we, as a team, we really needed to get ourselves going. We had a really tough loss against St. Vincent, and we talked about it and we felt like we played scared and soft. And coming into that game, we just got completely outmatched. And coming into Waynesburg, we wanted to make sure that we came out and made a statement and made sure we got back on the right track as a team. So,
You next take on the conference leader Teal on Saturday. I asked Coach Ondako this question. Anthony Thomas didn't play the first time around because of a concussion. Will having him back make a difference?
oh, definitely. Having him on the floor as a point guard, your point guard is probably, besides your center, besides somebody that has size, is probably your most important position on the floor. And somebody needs to take control of the situation and be able to run the offense as well as get your defense together, as well as talking on defense. So having Anthony back is a big part of our team. And Anthony was all-pack honorable mention last year, so that's a big player you're missing. So coming into Teal, that's really important.
At points in the game against Waynesburg, you weren't afraid to step up and maybe take those shots. You know, they didn't fall quite how you wanted them to for you, but is that something that being a younger player you kind of have to overcome?
Yeah, you have to be confident as a younger player. You come in, as a freshman last year, I came in and, you know, at some points I felt overwhelmed. We played Teal last year. I felt like I was just, you know, a pinball, just, you know, bouncing around. I wasn't big enough. But you have to have the confidence to do those things, because if not, then you can't be effective. You have to just go and you have to see what happens. So, for sure.
Would you say being a younger player on this team is sort of a catch-22? You know, you get time to work on your technique and your skills, but you'd maybe not get as much playing time as you'd like?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really bother me, you know, whether I play 30 minutes or I play 3 minutes. I think it's an advantage either way, because I can go out and I know no matter how many minutes I'm out there, if I play my game, I'm doing my job. And I know I have guys in front of me, guys like Anthony and Ronnie and Ruben. I have guys that can, you know, do the job. And all I have to do is go out there and play my game, and I know I can be effective at doing that. So,
when athletic director Jim Daffner and I were broadcasting the game last night, he mentioned you played high school ball for a former Westminster basketball player back in McKeesport outside of Pittsburgh. Did that coach have a big influence on you playing basketball just in general and playing here at Westminster?
Ryan Sturgis, he was my JV basketball coach, and he was assistant for the varsity. And he talked to me about, you know, coming here, and he had a small part in it. You know, I had, you know, looked in here before, but he had a small part in basketball-wise. You know, he really helped me to see the game a little differently defensively. You know, he helped me in different things. So, yeah, I'd say he had a part in it for sure.
What are your personal goals for this season?
Just to play my game. Like you talked about before, just the confidence as a young player. You know, I just want to do as much as I can for this team. And we'll all be back next year. You know, I'll be older, I'll be wiser then. But, you know, for now, I just want to make sure I do everything I can, you know, for the team. And whether that's on the floor, being able to make the right pass or make the right read or take a shot that I need to, or whether that's on the bench, you know, pushing guys, you know, jumping up, yelling on the bench, whatever I need to do. That's just what, you know, what I have to do. That's it.
What do you think the Titans have to do to have success in the next few weeks against a few tough Pac teams, Teal, Bethany? You know, those are going to be some tough games for this squad. You know, what do you guys have to do well?
Just play our game. Usually it seems like we play to the level of our competition. When we play teams like Grove City, teams that are, you know, closer to us in size, and we play to their, you know, to their level. But when we play teams like Bethany, we play teams like Teal, we play up to that level. So we just have to make sure we do those things and eliminate, you know, little mistakes. And as a young team, that's things you have to work through, or mistakes like that you know are going to happen. Sometimes we shoot air balls, which, you know, shouldn't happen, but as a young team it does. So if we can work through those mistakes, we'll have a chance to win.
The Titans had 24 total points off of turnovers in the Waynesburg game. Many of those were created by tough defense from the team. Is it difficult sometimes to play tough defense and be aggressive but stay out of foul trouble?
I'd say, yeah, it's definitely a part. Having depth though really helps us, because guys can gamble. You know, guys can go out there and play as hard as they can and know they have a backup. But, you know, in terms of foul trouble, that has another thing to do with it. If a guy gets in foul trouble, there's somebody on the bench that can replace him and just be just as good. So it doesn't really affect us in that manner. So. All
right, Kendall, last question. Any predictions for Saturday?
You'll see a good game. I'll tell you that much. I think Titan fans will definitely be looking forward to a great game. I know that much. So.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations on your win against Waynesburg, and good luck on Saturday.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for joining us here at Coach's Corner. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition.